Woo! I can't get over the size of this thing.
Honey, why are there 3 big boxes blocking the doorway? What did you buy now?
Uh-oh. Hey guys, it's DT. Welcome back to the channel. So I'm glad you guys could join us because today I'm going to be doing the biggest, the heaviest, the most expensive unboxing we've ever done on this channel. That's right, this thing is so huge, I had to create this 60-inch turntable. Now this thing is crazy, so without further ado, let's bring out the Sentinel. Okay, so maybe this wasn't the Sentinel I was planning on showing you guys today, but if you want to see a review, make sure to check out my other channel, DT's Geek Show. So today we're going to be taking a look at the XM Studios X-Men VS Sentinel Diorama. This thing came in 3 massive boxes totaling over 275 pounds. I built this turntable out of an old tabletop that I found for free on Craigslist. I sanded it, I painted it, and threw it on top of my old 24-inch turntable. So that turntable was only rated up to 150 pounds. This tabletop alone is close to 50 pounds, and the statue itself is close to 200. So we're looking at 250 pounds. We're way over the limit. But I think we're in good shape because I tried it out with a few human test subjects. Okay, so we've got a lot to do here, so let's get on to the unboxing. Okay guys, let's do this. So here we have the first box. This one was the one labeled A. It is the second heaviest, not the heaviest one. I don't believe there are art prints with this one, unfortunately, but it does give us the contents, and it takes 2 to show us everything. So there are quite a few pieces, not as many as you might think, but they are huge pieces. Let's see how easy this thing comes off. Ooh. So what do we have here? I guess they needed some extra room, so they had to cut a piece out of the foam in order for it to fit. Let's see what we have. And here's what we get in this box. Looks like we have a couple chunks of the base as well as the Sentinel torso. I've said it many times on this channel, and I'll say it again. These things are just a lot bigger in person than they are in pictures. So we've got this broken up city street. This thing is about 6 inches high, and that's just the floor. We got a piece of the New York City sewer system. That's where the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live. Even though this is just a small part of the base, it still has the edition size and edition number. This is number 20 out of 158. Oh, this is like a very heavy child, but here we have it. Look at all the detail in there. This thing is crazy. Look at that. We got some nice blue and purple. I was gonna try and put this thing together by myself, but after holding just this one piece, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. I might have to call in one of the kids to help me out. Look at that spine right there. Got little exposed wires coming out. Do I even want to attempt to pick this thing up? I don't even think this is the biggest part of the base. Oh. I'm having Hulkbuster flashbacks. We got a lifted up piece of ground here. We've got a little felt pad right there. This is very awkward just holding it. Here we have a key where it actually connects to the second part of the base. They kind of interlock. It would be terrible if I drop this. Some of you guys are like, yeah, please drop it. My veins are popping out in my arms because this thing is heavy. So you guys get the idea. We'll see this thing all put together in a bit. All right, so that's gonna do it for the first box. Let's go ahead and get the next box out here. Okay, and here we have box B. This one is the big boy. It weighs about 130 pounds. I think this one's got a couple layers, so let's get this lid off. And guys, I am already sweating. Okay, and here's what we have in the top layer. We've got some Sentinel arms, we've got some Sentinel legs, and some other random little Sentinel parts. You guys want to take a look at a leg? Here it is. Look at that. Got a giant key on the ball of its foot. You got some battle damage there, some of the machinery, some coils, got some hydraulics behind the knee, nuts and bolts, rivets. Here's a quick look at the other leg. This one is more bent. Here's a look at an arm. So this one is in a fist. This is the one Colossus is going to be catching. Pretty much the same size as my hand, maybe a little bit smaller. Some crazy details in those fingers. This piece has some light ups as well. Oh, this one seems even heavier. It's got a giant peg, giant key. Quick overview of the details on this thing. Then we have the little reactor. I bet if I show this to the family, they're gonna think this is some kind of purple and blue Iron Man. I think these are the shoulders. Both of these have magnetic keys as well. And then we have these three pieces, and I have no idea where they go. I'm gonna attempt to lift this out, but I don't know if I can. And I think I can probably lift it up now. And behold, the base. We've got two huge pieces of the base, a smaller portion over there. We do get the Sentinel head. We've got some more exposed wires at the top, some little dents, scrapes and scratches. You can see all the little mechanical parts in his face. Nice reference to Wolverine right here on the eye. Look at the back. These are all the light ups. Here is a smaller base. This is going to be for one of our X-Men. Surprisingly, this one isn't that heavy. We've got the double yellow line going down the middle of the street. You can see how it's lifted up there. So this one's a little heavier. Oh, I don't even know how to hold this thing. So here we go. Again, more street. Looks like a fallen plane. Here's where that other piece keys in. All right, so this thing's too heavy. I'm gonna go put it down and we'll get a closer look at that once it's all assembled. Let's go ahead and get the final box over here. Okay, and here we have the final box. This one is the lightest of them all. This one comes in at 52 pounds. So I think our X-Men will be in this one. Let's see what we get. Okay, and here's what we have in the top layer. Let's take a look at Jubilee since she's right here. So these are 1/6 scale humans. And at first glance, they look a little bit bigger than the other 1/6 scale figures that I've opened on the channel. I don't really mind that, but it may make it a little hard to pair those guys with these. But I'll bring them out at the end of the video and we'll put them all together. She's got the pink shades, got a little choker on, we've got her pink top, her short jean shorts, got some nice combat boots, and of course her signature yellow jacket. So this is all sculpted, no mixed media here. She's got her powers coming out of her hands and forearms. Then we have Psylocke over here. So there's a look at her portrait. She's got the hair coming down in her eyes. Got some nice detail in the hair. You can attach her psionic blade to her right hand. Looks like it should angle up a little bit more just to be in line with her arm. It looks like it droops down a little bit. But nice detail there in her arms. In this hand we've got katana. Or we could put it in this way. There's texture there on her suit. Same cool detail on her legs. And here's a shot from the back. And then we've got Beast here, all in one piece. That is just an amazing Beast statue right there. Look at the detail, I love the teeth. Look at all the detail in the fur. You can see the musculature, some really nice claws. Here's a look at his little diaper. And this guy is pretty heavy, especially for being 1/6 scale. Then we have some parts of Bishop. Here's a look at his head sculpt. He's got a screaming portrait. We've got some nice teeth, glossy tongue. Look at his hair. He's got this arm with a big gun. In his other hand, he's got a smaller pistol. Some nice work on the gloves, great forearm muscles. And then we have some wings for Archangel. This one was okay. Very cool metal wings. They aren't metal, by the way, which is why the other one has some breaks in it, but they did a nice job at making this look like real metal. So here's where the break is. It's on this one right here. As you can see, we are missing a chunk out of some wings. We also get Nimrod. He's actually a Sentinel himself, and he's not doing too well. As you can see, he's been split in half. He's got some great detail as well. Here is his lower body. Nice metal armor design. We've even got some gold in there. He's got some exposed wires. Little purple accents in his foot. Here's some more severed wires. Not only is he cut in half, but his leg has been amputated as well. Those are some pretty snazzy sneakers Here's a look at the body of Bishop. You can see his muscles through his suit. He's got this cool pack on his back. Of course, he's got some pouches, nice gold belt. You see some texture on his pants. And then check out these boots. Got some nice tread on the bottom. And then he's got the yellow stripe going up his leg, all the way up to his shoulder. Pretty nice looking Bishop. And then we have our Archangel. This guy is going at the very top of the statue. He's got this very dynamic pose, classic pink and blue colors. Here's where his wings key in. We also get our fire hydrant, because every city street battle needs a fire hydrant. The only thing we're missing is a little dog. And then we have the big guy, Colossus. There he is, looking really good in his red and yellow. Of course, he's going to be holding up the Sentinel's arm. I'm not sure if this is the same paint they use for their quarter scale Colossus, but it is very bright and vibrant opposed to the premium format that I have. I'm glad they went full on Ronald McDonald with this guy. Then we've got these little metal shards from Archangel. Oh, almost forgot. We have Jubilee's other hand. This one also has the power effect coming from it. She's shooting it out of her hand. See the little stars. And with that, we end our unboxing portion of this video. I'm gonna take a little breather, and then we'll put this guy together. Okay guys, here he is, the XM Studios X-Men vs Sentinel Diorama. So the Sentinels made their first appearance in the X-Men number 14 in 1965. And Nimrod here, who was actually a Sentinel from the future, appeared in X-Men 191 in 1985. The Sentinels were created by Bolivar Trask in order to hunt and eliminate all mutants. So we've got a lot going on here with this space. So it's a broken up city street. We've got the broken asphalt on top with the underlying earth beneath it. There's a big chunk that comes out that actually supports this left leg. And then we have our X-Men that are also on pieces of concrete. I really like the treatment and details in the road. It looks like a real road. What could have been better, in my opinion, is the underlying dirt. It comes off a little bit muddied. There isn't a whole lot of detail in there. It does have some nice form to it, but it doesn't look like real dirt. It's a little bit shiny too, which kind of takes away from that realistic feel. But to be honest, I don't think anybody looking at this piece is going to be looking at the floor. There's also some nice details in this part of the sidewalk. It's kind of got a raised border, and then these stamped or tiled pieces, which has some nice texture in it as well. We also have the side of a plane. It kind of comes out of nowhere. I know the original design actually had more of the plane, but it got simplified down to this. We have a few windows. We have the little riveted metal panels. I think it looks pretty good. Definitely adds to the story. Over here we have a nice sculpted NYC manhole cover on Psylocke's base, and she's on this giant slab of concrete. So the thing with the base is you can kind of move these pieces around. They're kind of modular. They do fit nicely where they are. However, if you didn't have space, you could take off a big chunk and put it somewhere, or even kind of display it on its own. The whole base is sort of this triangular pie shape, and if you didn't want to display 3 characters up here, you could easily just kind of move this one over there where there's only 1 character. I believe the initial concept was to add additional pieces to this. However, I'm not sure if that's still in the plans due to licensing or due to sales. If you thought the Transformers were huge, this guy makes them seem like little toys. So Sentinels have come in all different sizes. When they first started out, they were only a little bit taller than humans, and more recently, they're as tall as a house. I've seen some quarter scale statues where the Sentinel head is bigger than the actual person standing on it. So this seems like it might be one of the smaller Sentinels. I love all the details. We've got a lot of battle damage, scratches. The paint is very nice. I love the blue and purple colors. We also have some metallics in there as well for some of the internal mechanics. The sculpt on this is just fantastic. I don't see any other Sentinel being able to top this one. We've got all the little joints, coils, hydraulics, tubing running all over the place. Just intricate details wherever you look. The pose on this guy is super dynamic. Obviously, if he was standing straight up, he would be insanely tall. I like how he has this lunging pose. It really seems like he is in a battle. So I did have some fitment issues when I was putting this guy together. The pieces didn't go in quite as easily as I would have hoped. There was one piece that didn't fit in at all. I'm thinking they sent me the wrong piece. I'm hoping I can get the correct piece. But this guy is pretty sturdy. There are pins holding his arms in place. He's well supported on the base, and I'm sure these chunky legs are enough to support his body. And as you can see down here with Colossus, his hands don't actually make contact with the Sentinel hands. There are some pads on the palm of his hands, which leads me to believe that he should be making contact. However, he doesn't. So one of the problems I had was inserting these metal feather projectiles. There was one that I couldn't get to key in. I'll have to take a closer look once I have this guy lower. One kind of sticks out of his neck, one sticks out of his arm, and one sticks out of his shoulder. But I felt like they were kind of obscuring the look, at least from this angle. So I just left them off for now. So down here we also have Nimrod. He's been split in half, plus his leg has been ripped off. He's actually one of the most powerful Sentinels. To see him in this position is a little sad. Here he is, he's kind of crawling along. We can kind of position him any way we want. And if you're a big fan of fire hydrants, we've got a shiny red one right here. So overall, I think the characters look great. One of the complaints with this piece was that it didn't include some of the more popular X-Men characters like Wolverine, Cyclops, Rogue. And for me, at first, that was a bit of a turnoff. I think everybody wanted to see their favorite X-Men as part of this magnificent statue. And when this piece was first teased over 5 years ago, they did include those characters. However, due to licensing, they weren't able to follow through with them, and they had to do some modifications and switch out the characters. And we basically have a bunch of characters that aren't commonly made. So I don't have a Psylocke, a Jubilee, a Bishop, a Beast, or an Archangel. The only one I have is Colossus. So this setup will actually go along nicely with my current X-Men setup. You can also find 1/6 scale Wolverines, Cyclops, Gambits made by different companies that you could pair with this. And at the end of the video, I will show you some of my 1/6 scale statues next to these guys. So the overall picture I think is great. There are some little pose nitpicks that I will tell you about. First, let's start off with Colossus. Colossus looks great. He's got the more classic Colossus look than the Sideshow premium format. I'm glad I have two variations of him. He is actually going uphill on the street, and he is demonstrating his powers. And that's one of the things I love about these poses, is that they're all demonstrating their abilities. Great paint, great expression, great sculpt on him. Next up, we've got Jubilee. She's on her own little concrete base. I love that the base is not flat, it's actually a raised piece of floor. So it kind of looks like she's surfing on that, trying to keep her balance, while at the same time shooting a blast out of her hands. Love the sculpt on this, great details on the shoes. The coat's got some nice contouring. She's got her trademark pink shades and top. The main criticisms with Jubilees and Psylocke's are usually their portraits. So does this portrait look Asian? Maybe a little bit. She does have the dark hair. However, the blue eyes and pointy nose kind of throw me off a little bit. But it's a decent portrait. And then over here we have Psylocke. I like the colors. They use the purple for her boots. She's got the very vibrant blue with the red sash around her waist, and she's got the black and purple hair. She definitely looks a little bit more Asian than Jubilee. Psylocke, if you guys know the history, didn't actually start off Asian. She just became Asian when she took over the body of an Asian person. She's holding her sword in one hand, and she's got the psionic blade in the other. Now, from some angles, the psionic blade looks like it's coming straight out of her arm, which is nice. And from others, like I showed you guys earlier, it kind of droops downward a little bit. She's kind of got this charging pose with her left leg up. She's kind of pushing off with her right foot. I would have loved for it to have a little bit more lean. Right now it kind of looks like she's marching in place, but overall I think she looks great. So up here on the Sentinel's back with his hand on the Sentinel head, we've got Beast, probably my favorite figure out of the 6 of these. This guy is just ferocious. He's got one claw up, ready for the attack. I love the sculpt in the fur and the muscles, but great look. I love how his claws are kind of digging into the metal of the Sentinel. Over here on the back, kind of balancing on the back leg of the Sentinel, we have Bishop. The sculpt on this guy is fantastic. We've got great details in the boots, in the texture of his pants. He's got all this artillery, sort of this cape flowing in the wind, screaming portrait. My only critique for this is that his hands kind of do this weird cross. So he's pointing his guns up at the back of the Sentinel. The gun in his left hand actually crosses and almost touches the other gun. I wish they could separate a little more. It's a little bit too close for me. Still a very impressive Bishop. And then finally up on top, we have Archangel. So I love the colors on this guy. He's got the traditional blue and pink. I love the sculpt and positioning of the wings. They look like he is about to fly away. But I think his right leg is bent a little bit too much. If he was jumping off, I think his foot would be slightly lower. Like getting your heel to actually touch the back of your hamstring is almost impossible unless you're like leaning on something. All right guys, so here we have them set up with my other 1/6 scale X-Men. We've got the Kotobukiya, Magneto, Storm, Wolverine, and Deadpool, and the Diamond Select Iceman over there. So I think this looks pretty cool as a whole setup. These other 1/6 scale statues are a little bit on the small side, so it's not a perfect match, unfortunately. Wolverine here looks pretty good because he is a smaller guy and he's in this dynamic pose. But Psylocke over there is pretty much taller than everybody else. So I'm not really sure what scale is correct. So I compared him to my Hot Toys Iron Man, which is also supposed to be 1/6 scale, and this guy is right around the middle. So the XM Studios characters are a little bit bigger than this guy, and all of these other 1/6 scale are a little bit smaller. So I'm not really sure which one has the correct scale, but if you don't look too closely, I think they all look good together. Okay guys, so that was a look at XM Studios X-Men vs Sentinel Diorama. This is an insane piece, definitely not for everybody just because of the sheer size of the thing. But I would have to say, if you're a big X-Men fan and you have the space and the money, this is something you might want to add to your collection. If you guys want to see the full video of me trying to assemble this big boy, make sure to head over to DT's Geek Show. I've got a video of that whole experience over there. Check it out, it's free. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.